Okay, imagine finding this hidden group of artisans, right?
Right.
Quietly perfecting their craft, completely against the grain, and somehow building this world-class reputation.
Yeah, just completely under the radar initially.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into Whitefarmz, the art of German hash mastery.
Hmm.
Our mission, really, is to unpack how this group from Bavaria, dealing with all sorts of pressures, commercial pressures, working underground, how they stuck to their guns and ended up achieving this incredible status in a super specialized field.
And for you, the listener, I think this is fascinating because it's not just about, hash or a product. It's really a story about relentless precision
Right.
and patience, like serious patience, and this deep, almost obsessive pride in the craft itself.
Especially given where they started.
Oh, absolutely. Cultivated in a really challenging environment, pushing back against what everyone else is doing. It really shows how heritage and just pure passion can become the heart of a brand's identity, and get global recognition.
It's pretty amazing. Their start in southern Germany's underground scene, I mean, that's quite the origin story. What were the biggest hurdles back then, operating like that, before all the modern gear was around? How did those limitations end up shaping what they do?
Well, yeah, their journey really started deep in that clandestine world, way before sophisticated equipment was common. Think cold basements,
Right.
long nights, really meticulous work, but with very basic tools like 25-micron screens and ice water.
Just the fundamentals.
Exactly. They were essentially forced by prohibition, by the circumstances, to perfect what's called hand wash tech. They refined every single step through, well, sheer grit and doing it over and over. It was like a baptism by fire, honestly.
And that really built their foundation.
It absolutely built their foundational expertise, yeah.
And it sounds like that tough start really forged their whole philosophy, too. They had this mantra, right? If it don't bubble, it's trouble. How did something so simple become such a non-negotiable standard, especially when the market, the rest of Europe, was heading somewhere else entirely?
That's a really great point because, between maybe 2015 and 2019, hydrocarbon extractions, BHO and stuff were totally dominating the European scene.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
But Whitefarmz, they just adamantly stuck to their ice and water methods, just relentlessly chasing those perfect, clear, meltable trichome heads.
So if it don't bubble, it's trouble wasn't just talk.
Not at all. It was their absolute quality filter. It meant only the purest, highest grade stuff, the real melt, made it through. This commitment, this absolute standard, even when it went against the commercial tide, that's precisely what started setting them apart.
And the name itself, Whitefarmz, it feels like a statement. Can you break that down? How do White and Farms capture what they're about?
Yeah, absolutely. White is, it's a direct nod to clean, uncut 6-star melt.
Okay, explain 6-star for anyone who doesn't know.
Right, so 6-star is basically the highest purity grade for hash. It means it melts almost entirely away when you dab it, leaves practically zero residue. So white means that level of absolute purity.
Gotcha. And Farms.
Farms with a Zin is kind of a direct rejection of that big corporate mass production vibe.
Okay.
It signals small batch, really meticulous craft. It's not about massive fields. It's about artistry,
Yeah.
precision, and a deep personal pride in every single step of the process.
That dedication, that mastery, it sounds like it goes right down to the roots. Literally, I've heard they talk about achieving mineral mastery. What exactly is that, and how crucial is it for them?
Yeah, connecting it back to the actual growing, it really highlights their depth of knowledge. I mean, they apparently spent something like 15 years growing in every possible medium.
Wow, okay.
And now they've really dialed in using cocoa substrate and drip systems to get what they call mineral mastery. It means perfecting the precise delivery of minerals and nutrients. It's about controlling exactly what the plant gets and when for optimal development, specifically for producing those high-quality trichomes. It's not just feeding plants. It's like precision nutrition engineering.
And that's fundamental to the end product.
Absolutely fundamental. The quality starts there.
And that precision clearly carries right through production. Their motto, small batch, big fire, it's not just marketing, it's how they work. Each jar starts with that mineral precision, ends with a low-temp press. But they're very clear. No CRC, no shortcuts. Okay, first, what is CRC for our listeners?
Right. CRC stands for Color Remediation Column. It's a filtration process some producers use, often with solvents, to basically clean up extracts. It can improve the color, make things look lighter, or sometimes mask impurities or starting material quality.
Okay, so Whitefarmz refuses to use it. What does that actually cost them? In time, resources, maybe even market reach, especially when others might take that shortcut.
Oh, it definitely costs them. Refusing CRC is a huge statement about transparency and, again, purity. It means they have to rely entirely on the quality of their starting flower and the absolute meticulousness of their wash and press process.
No hiding anything.
Exactly. No hiding. So yes, it adds significant labor. It probably limits their overall output volume, but it's completely crucial to their brand's integrity. It ensures what they produce truly, as they say, whispers on quartz.
That's a great phrase.
Isn't it? It just means hashed so clean it leaves virtually no residue when dabbed on hot quartz. It speaks to those late-night washes, the calloused hands, the high stakes they embrace for that ultimate purity, no shortcuts allowed.
This brings up an interesting point about how they position themselves. While lots of big brands were flooding the market with mass-produced carts and gummies,
Yeah, the hype trains. Right.
Whitefarmz went a totally different way. They hosted these exclusive melt tastings at private clubs. What was the strategy there? What did they gain by connecting directly with connoisseurs like that?
It was a deliberate rejection of chasing those fleeting mass market trends. By holding these really exclusive melt tastings, showcasing specific strains they'd perfected like Tem cookies, Zaya, honey fresca, Yosemite papaya. They weren't just selling something, they were educating. They were demonstrating firsthand Germany's potential for top-tier solventless mastery to an audience that would actually appreciate it.
Building a different kind of market.
Exactly. Cultivating a connoisseur market, building trust and reputation based on undeniable quality shown directly, rather than just relying on broad commercial hype or branding.
And it seems like that reputation really started to echo internationally. There's that story about Whitefarmz connecting with Burning Rope Pharms from Florida.
Yeah, that's a significant one.
Burning Rope sending seeds over, and then that meeting at a Wizard Tree's wedding in Milan. What does that whole sequence tell us about where Whitefarmz stood in the global community?
I mean, it's a massive endorsement, right? It's like a true passing of the torch, in a way. For a respected name like Burning Rope Pharms to be so impressed that they not only send seeds overseas,
Which is a big deal in itself.
huge deal, but then to solidify that connection in Milan and specifically entrust Whitefarmz with a prize strain like Yosemite, which is a cross of Tahoe OG and cowboy cookies, and basically say, don't let me down. It just speaks volumes. It shows that Whitefarmz's underground, hard-won expertise had reached this level of undeniable world-class excellence. It was being recognized by serious international peers who know the craft, and apparently Whitefarmz delivered on that trust.
It's fascinating how that deep underground knowledge is now adapting. Germany's cannabis club model is supposed to go live in 2025.
Right, the landscape is changing.
And Whitefarmz isn't staying in the shadows. They're consulting for Bavarian botanicals on washroom setups, planning their own club. How are they managing that transition? Moving into compliance without losing that core identity, that heritage that made them who they are.
It's really compelling to watch, actually. They're essentially taking all that deep-rooted, clandestine knowledge, everything they learned the hard way, and figuring out how to apply it within a legal framework.
Bringing it into the light.
Exactly. Consulting on washrooms, planning their own club. It's their way of bringing that specific heritage into the compliant market, ensuring that this meticulous craft, their way of doing things, can survive and maybe even thrive legally. It shows they're committed not just to their product, but to preserving the craft itself, adapting but holding tight to those principles of purity and quality.
And the buzz is definitely growing. There's talk, right? Cannabis Champions Cup in 2026. Maybe a big European collaboration, solidifying German hash's place globally.
The whispers are there, yeah. It feels like something is building.
But until then, it seems they're sticking to the plan. Small batch, big fire. They really did turn basements into art studios, didn't they?
They absolutely did. And melt into a movement almost. For them, full melt isn't just hype. It's heritage. It comes back to that core idea.
If it don't bubble, it's trouble.
Precisely.
So quite a journey. We've traced Whitefarmz from those hidden beginnings in southern Germany really pushing against the tide, defying trends, to becoming this benchmark for hash mastery on a global scale. Their story is just such a powerful example of what happens when you have this unwavering commitment to purity, to precision, to the craft itself, turning a hidden art form into something truly influential.
Yeah, and I think this leaves an interesting thought for you, the listener. Consider how genuine mastery, that kind of enduring heritage, can really spring from this deep-seated passion and just meticulous dedication.
Even when it's hard.
Especially when it's hard, even when it means going against the grain, facing huge obstacles. What does this Whitefarmz story maybe tell you about the potential for finding that kind of unexpected excellence?
Well, really in any field you explore. Just by staying true to uncompromising standards and having a real love for the craft.